here talking about a story from my past, actually, that surfaced recently. And it's actually one of the clients I had a long time ago, back when I first started with the state of Missouri in the Children's Division. And like I said, definitely working in foster care system, that kind of thing, trying to figure out myself. I was brand new out of college, that kind of thing too. And that was actually my first real job right out of college, actually. And like I said, definitely I had to work for a year before, of course, before I got started. So of course I knew the ropes. I knew some of the ropes, knew how to do some of the job and that kind of thing. But of course, as we all do, we all learn along the way. I guess I put it that way. So like I said, one of the cases that I had, all the cases for me were near and dear to my heart. Of course, I tried to work on them as best as I could. Being the social worker, of course, I was up against, of course, my supervision, I guess I put it that way as well, and our policies and our rules and regulations of the foster care system in Missouri. Then, of course, going to court with the juvenile justice system and the judges and the attorneys and the guardian ad litems and all those folks that were involved. I guess I put it that way as well. And then, of course, any parents that were involved, parents or family or anybody else that was involved as well. Yeah, me and my sinuses. But like I said, I was up against a lot when it came to those kind of when it came to that kind of position, because like I said, you had to follow the rules per the state law in the court system law and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you'd be in trouble. I guess I put it that way as a social worker or whatever kind of job you were doing. But I was a social worker, foster care system. So like I said, one of the cases I got, it broke my heart to tears, actually. Of course, I had single moms, I had young men on my caseload, I had little children, I had everyone from birth till the age of 21 on my case. Well, some of them are close to 21 on my caseload, because of course in Missouri they can age out at the age of 21 and you can keep them on your caseload, especially if they haven't gotten a place to stay or they don't have a permanent residence, all those kind of things. So like I said, one of the cases that I had, like I said, it definitely was a hard one. My first time ever doing something like this. But I had, like I said, I had by court mandate and Missouri state law mandate, I had to, of course, remove this person's child from the hospital. The baby wasn't even a week old yet. Of course, teen mom, that type of thing. And like I said, definitely there were some behaviors going on, which a lot of teens have behaviors. We have a teen at home that has behaviors. So I definitely understand that. I don't remember the circumstances as to why this case was brought to the forefront. I don't remember all that offhand. But like I said, I just remember those significant moments. And this young lady, of course, she was young. She, like I said, middle 15, 16 years old. And I saw the potential in her when I got her case. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, yes, regardless as the behaviors and all that kind of thing. Like I said, definitely I saw all the behavior. I mean, the positive things that I knew she can do while she was, of course, like I said, on my caseload. And of course, I tried to make that happen as much as I could. Of course, within the law, within reason. Of course, I couldn't just do everything for her because I had, 40 something other cases as well. So, of course, if you have not ever worked in the foster care system as a case manager, you're given case after case after case. Some of those cases have 5 and 6 kids. The highest one I had, I think, was 7 kids, 8 kids, I mean. So, of course, you're doing visits with the family, you're going to court, you're taking the kids for visits, doing all these things, trying to place everybody, trying to get everybody in a permanent situation as much as you could, or a temporary situation. It just depends on the situation that brought them into care. Some were permanent situations, and some wasn't. Some were just foster care for a little while, and, of course, expected to go back home. So, like I said, definitely in dealing with all this, I guess like I said with the case and that kind of thing, and talking to the family and trying to, of course, get her as much as I could on a better track to, of course, to live up to the potential that I saw. I know she always said that she wanted to work in the medical field. That was one of the things she told me. I never forgot that. Like I said, I never forgot her or her child either. So like I said, definitely she made a big impression on me as well, because I saw what she was doing. I saw how she was trying to make things work. I saw how she was, of course, getting her child back and got her back and moving into an apartment and trying to go to school and trying to finish that. I saw all those things. And like I said, I was definitely glad that she was one of the young ladies that I had, single mom and all, that was still out there trying to make it and trying to do what she had to do, regardless as to whether she was in foster care or not. She did what she had to do. And like I said, I never forget some of the kids. I can't say every single one of them because some of them I didn't have that long on my case. I call them all my kids, but I know they're not my kids, but they're on my caseload. But like I said, definitely, like I said, over the years, that kind of thing. Like I said, I had her. I was there for 7.5, almost 8 years, and I had her just about that long as well until I left there, I believe. I want to say either the year I left or the year before I left, one of the two. And like I said, I never forgot her mom, her family, all those types of things. Like I said, all the positive things, regardless as to what the reason was that brought her in the care, she was still trying to make it as a young mom anyway. Doing what she needed to do, standing against all the things that told her that she wasn't going to make it. She was trying to make it at that time. And like I said, of course, I was trying to get all the resources I could to help this young lady to, of course, better her life, like I said, to the best of my ability. Working with the court, the judges, trying to get things passed and that kind of thing for her. I guess I put it for her and other kids I had as well. Like I said, I wasn't one of those case workers who just sat back and did nothing. And I made sure the kids that I had on my caseload, my kids, I still call my kids, the kids that I had, I still tried to make sure that they got what I could get for them. I guess I put it that way. Whether there was extra money for clothing, whether there was extra, I don't know, some tickets to go to Six Flags, whatever it was, some more visits to go home, trying to get some of these kids to go home way before the time, because I knew, of course, I met the parents, knew what was going on. Things were looking up and up, trying to get these kids to go home, because most of them look just like me in the St. Louis area. If you've never been in worked in the foster care system in St. Louis, probably in most cities, I'm going to imagine are probably black and brown folks like me. And I don't want to see us in the system years, in which some of them were actually years and years and years from birth until they aged out at age 21. Because somebody along the way had dropped the ball. And of course, here I come trying to pick up the cases I had and trying to fix these things and figure out things and get these kids on the way to either go home. If the rights were terminated, I guess adopted. Or they were getting teenagers and that kind of thing. Trying to find them some apartment programs that they can go into. And that's what this young lady went to as well. Like I said, I wasn't one of those lazy caseworkers. I made sure that they had what they needed, but because I treated them just like I said, my own family, because they looked like me too. Not saying that they didn't, I wouldn't have did that, but I would have done that in all those situations. I did have Native American, I had Caucasian as well. They all got the same treatment. Nobody didn't get any less treatment of anybody because of the race. But I'm just saying that most of them looked like me, and she was as well. And I know how unfairly treated these kids were being in the foster care system, I guess, from what I've seen and from what I still continue to hear. But like I said, after going through all that with her and that kind of thing and me leaving the job, this was back, like I said, I graduated college back in 1999. Hold on, yeah. So, of course, I stayed at that job to about 2006, 7, I think, somewhere along from there. Then I went to work for a transitional housing program for a little bit over 10 years. Worked at a home health agency for 5-6 years. Of course, I moved. Now I'm down in Arizona working for the older adult services. So like I said, I've been off across the board from birth to death. And like I said, definitely, I don't forget the kids like I said, they have stuck out to me as far as being on my caseload and what I was helping them through and what they made it through and all those types of things. So getting to the story, like I said, y'all, we had a traumatic beginning to our relationship, I guess I put it that way. But of course, in the end, I just heard from this lady this morning, actually. She's a grown woman now, I guess I put it that way. Let me see, I don't know what age, I'm not sure in the 20s, I don't know about the 30s. But at least in the late 20s, early 30s, or mid, between 25 and 35. I ain't gonna say 25, hold on. Probably over 30. I'll put it that way. And like I said, she searched me out on social media this morning. I got a message from her asking if it's the same person that took care of her and her baby back in the 1990s and early 2000s. I'm sitting up here like, oh my God, I know exactly who you're talking about. Asking me, do I remember who she is? Yes, I do remember who you are. Because like I said, I definitely worked with her to get some things done that she was trying to do, I guess I put it that way, and tried to make sure that she got what she needed in order to succeed. As best as I could within the law, like I said, given the law in the state of Missouri and the juvenile courts as best as I could. So like I said, she reached out to me, and I woke up this morning, I'm sitting up like, I know exactly what this is. Like I said, oh my God. She, of course, we messaged a little bit this morning. She was letting me know that she, of course, got her bachelor's degree in nursing and on to her master's at this present time, which was awesome. I was like, oh my God, you go, girl. Like I said, she still looked the same, of course. I'm sure her daughter probably 20 by now, I guess. But like I said, definitely she's doing a damn good job for herself. And I'm very like I told her this morning, I'm very very proud of you. Like I told her, I've never forgotten you. A lot of like I said, a lot of the kids that I had back in those days. A lot of them I did not forget. Now whether I went out and found them, that kind of thing, that I have not done, because I don't know what some of the kids' names are now. That kind of thing, or her name changed as well, so I wouldn't have known that anyway. But like I said, definitely she reached out this morning to let me know thank you for, of course, taking care of her child, getting her to where she needed to, well, where she needed to go at that time. And like she said, she was the best social worker that she's ever had. And I was like, oh my God, I was in tears this morning. Like I said, that was just awesome to hear, because it lets me know that all the hard work, even though I didn't see it right then, I saw some of the hard work, but not all of it. But like I said, even though I didn't see it right then because it was so busy, so much stuff going on with all the 40-some kids I had all the time, like I said, it's definitely good to hear from one of the ones that, of course, made it through and had a successful ending. Still has her child, still pushing forward to get that master's degree in nursing. Like I said, that was just awesome. Then to hear that I was a favorite social worker and she felt the love and the care that I gave to her and her daughter. Like I said, that was just awesome to hear this morning, y'all. And like I said, that was the first job I ever had. Not the first case, but one of the first cases I had, actually. And like I said, definitely just hearing that, I'm like, oh my God, this young lady is amazing. And like I said, I'm sure she'll see this video at some point too. But like I said, she is amazing. Like I said, I'm definitely proud of her for, like I said, for doing what she's done. I'm not going to take credit for all of it at all, which I cannot. Of course, I gave her the resources and all that I knew at that time. But she made it work for herself, regardless of the situation. Regardless as to what was going on, she still surpassed all that trauma, all that drama, and still made something of herself. That's what I'm proud of. Like I said, she's doing a doggone good job. A doggone good job, y'all. And like I said, I definitely just want to share this story with y'all today, because like I said, this took me full circle back when I first started in social work. It'll be 27 years I'll be working in this field in May. So this tells you, this my first job was a long ass time ago, a little bit over 20 years ago. And like I said, just hearing from her this morning. Of course, we connected and that kind of thing. Said we're going to stay in touch and that kind of thing as well. Like I said, it was definitely good to hear from her and to hear the good things that she's doing. Like I said, definitely a proud moment. Like I said, definitely a full circle moment as well. Because she's the only one from that particular job, I think. Yeah, from that particular job that I've actually heard from, I guess I put it that way, or reconnected with. Everybody else came a little bit later, like 10, 15 years down the road. Because some of them are already on my social media. We chat sometimes. They tell me how they're doing. That kind of thing as well. Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. But like I said, she's the one that, like I said, one of the ones from when I first started working. Which, like I said, I'm greatly, really proud of her. So like I said, y'all, I just want to share that message with y'all today. Just to let you know, things do sometimes come full circle. You may not see it right there in that moment. But, of course, at some point, something will come. Like I said, like it came for me this morning as well. And like I said, definitely, yes, I can, like I said, I'm definitely proud of her. But like I said, she put all those things to work. The resources, everything that, of course, that I gave her, that kind of thing. Even some things I didn't give her, I'm pretty sure she put it to work. She had the best foundation or better foundation that she can grow on and to, of course, survive on, to live on, and to, of course, thrive on as well, which I'm definitely glad of that. And like I said, she had family involvement, so that was a good thing as well. But like I said, definitely, this just, like I said, was a full circle moment. Like I said, I was in tears this morning. I'm like, oh my God, all the hard work that I didn't see at the time has really paid off for somebody, even if it's just that one person. And like I said, sometimes when we are in these helping professions, social worker, teacher, psychologist, therapist, whatever it is, and sometimes you don't hear, well, a lot of times you don't hear from your clients years later, that kind of thing at all. And like I said, I'm definitely glad that she reached out and remembered who I was and that I made that kind of impact on her. So like I said, y'all, it was just a proud moment, y'all. I can't say proud mommy moment because I'm not her mommy, but like I said, definitely, I guess, social worker moment. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, it was definitely a proud moment this morning. And like I said, I definitely want to share this with y'all because like I said, it was a traumatic beginning to me and her meeting, but in the end, it all worked out for her, and I'm definitely glad of that. I know God is good with that. Of course, I know that already. And I knew she wouldn't fail. I knew she was going to do well. And I'm just glad to hear the ending story was was definitely what I was thinking that it was going to be. Because like I said, I saw that potential in her. Regardless as to whatever attitude or whatever she had, don't matter. I still saw the potential anyway. So like I said, yeah, I want to share that because like I said, that is a proud, full circle moment to let me know that my hard work did pay off in this young lady's life, and that I did save at least one damn person from that job that's doing good right now. Because we hear all these horror stories about kids in foster care, and I even had some too that were aged out at 21, didn't have a place to go. I was trying to figure out a place for them to go. They weren't doing the work in that moment. I'm hoping that they found some place at some point, I hope. Because my efforts with, like I said, everybody, it didn't pan out well. Because they have to do the work too. Not just me doing all the work, but they have to do the work too. Like I said, definitely, y'all, like I said, we hear all these horror stories, but this is a good story. So I love this. Like I said, I want to share this with y'all. Because like I said, this is near and dear to my heart, the work that I do. And it's always going to be the way because that's the kind of person that I am. I want to see everybody win. I want to see, even though everybody may not win, that's okay. In my eyes, everybody's going to win in some kind of arena. And like I said, y'all, she has definitely won. Doing a damn good job. Like I said, definitely proud of this young lady. So like I said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I just want to share this story with y'all because like I said, y'all, this was a proud, I guess, social worker moment for me today. So, and like I said, I'm definitely glad that she reached out. It was definitely unexpected. And like I said, I definitely want to share this moment because this is something that most social workers, people who worked in the helping professions, do not get very often at all. So like I said, I'm definitely glad that she gave me that moment. I guess I put it that way. So like I said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Again, this is Tonetta Clay, and this is my channel where, of course, I help women learn to speak their truth, to be who they are, and to, of course, to create the best life that they can, the life that they can only imagine, just like I am too, walking alongside me. So with that, y'all, take care, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. I hope y'all have enjoyed this awesome, proud story, y'all. So let me know in the comments if you are a helping professional and if you had any proud moments like this of any client that you know of that has reached out to you or told you how the advice paid off or that type of thing. And let me know in the comments, y'all. I definitely want to know and I definitely want to hear from you. Of course, don't share names or that type of thing. Keep it confidential, but of course, share part of the story if you can. So with that, y'all, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next video.